TG Geeks, episode 22, May 18th, 2015. Why is it raining in Phoenix? This is the desert. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I am Keith Lane, your producer here at TG Squared Studios in lovely, rainy Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also in rather damp Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so let's start things off. We got a lot of ground to cover, and I want to start off with a movie that I've loved for a long time. It looks like we might even get a sequel for it now, The Last Starfighter.
Yay!
Oh, I love this film. It came out in 1984. It is a cult classic sci-fi film, and it finally may get a sequel over 30 years after its release. Now, according to the film's original screenwriter, Jonathan Betuel, I hope I pronounced that right, he is hard at work at crafting another installment for this film. And he says there's a lot of things going on that we will see the light of day. And he told it to Yahoo Movie News. He said now it was directed by Nick Castle, starred Lance Guest, and it told the story of a reclusive teenager who was drafted into an intergalactic war. And since its release, the film has developed an enormous cult following.
Well, I don't necessarily think that he's reclusive. He just lived out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, he lived, but he kind of kept to himself. I mean, he had his own dreams and aspirations and whatever. Yeah. So, but it looks like he's, he finally got to become something important, and now the movie might finally get the treatment that it deserves, because I love this film, and I think it kind of got maligned, sadly. So next up, I want to briefly touch on some Star Wars news. Now, for people who purchased the Uber Deluxe Blu-ray set that Lucasfilm put out a number of years ago for episodes 4, 5, and 6, will know that Lucas finally fessed up and admitted that he had a whole bunch of extra footage that specifically revolved around a certain character named Biggs Darklighter. Now, a lot of that stuff kind of got cut out, and for years Lucas said that information did not, or the footage didn't exist. Well, finally, it is now out. Documentarian Jamie Benning, she's behind a couple of full-length Star Wars making-of features, just released a 17-minute short called Blasted Biggs, Where Are You?, that examines the character and his original part in the larger drama, including scenes cut from the movie, as well as a lengthy interview with the actor Garrick Hagan. The name Biggs is mentioned early on in A New Hope, but doesn't show up on screen until just before the Battle of Yavin, where the rebels are taking on the Death Star, blah, 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 blah. Luke and Biggs have a really wonderful reunion at Hammer Bay, which would make sense since they're old friends from far away. So anyway, yeah, they finally got this out. A lot of
galaxy far, far.
And well, yeah, I think, I like the sound of that. I think you might want to patent that. So anyway, the footage has finally been made available. It is. Some of it is actually on YouTube right now, so we will post a link for this article for anybody who wants to see it. It's interesting. Some of it is completely unviewable because there's absolutely no sound, but still, it's if you're a really big fan of Star Wars history, this thing's for you. My mother thanks you. So now, switching from the big screen to the small screen. Something that is enormously popular with a lot of people is the BBC series Sherlock. Now, it's been over a year since we last saw Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock and Martin Freeman as Watson. And we still have a bit of a wait for season 4 for Sherlock to officially kick off sometime in 2016. Oh, that's way too long. But, hey, these two guys are really busy, so I'll cut them some slack. But in true BBC fashion, we will be getting a Christmas special this year that is being considered as part of the series for return. Now, as with many BBC Christmas specials, this episode is shaping up to be something of a standalone, hey, I don't mind, with events largely taking place in 1895 Victorian-era England. This move, and the year in particular, isn't random choice by any means. As co-creator Mark Gatiss recently confirmed the date, the BBC explained that 1895 was the height of Sherlock Holmes' popularity at the time, and it was the year that the creator Arthur Conan Doyle killed the character, only to resurrect him later on, much the same way the show Sherlock did as Season 2 and Season 3. Now, as for the Season 4 return, any details regarding the return to the modern era, it begins in earnest in 2016. Co-creators Gatiss and Moffat, they're not revealing too much. They're not saying a whole heck of a lot. But in Moffat's recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, he did hint at where the show will be picking up, even though writing for the next 3 episodes after the Christmas special hasn't even begun. And the only thing that Moffat has said is, you can sort of see that in the way Series 3 went. It's great that he's back, and John, Martin Freeman, got a wife, and Sherlock likes her, and isn't it adorable? And then it all goes to hell. Leave it at that. So that's what we have to look forward to in terms of Sherlock. Now, this is probably, I don't know how I quite feel about this. This really stunned me when I read this news. Hulu, they're another one of those streaming services that, in addition to getting other network and movie programming, they like to do their own original programming as well.
So we went from the large screen to the small screen to the paid screen.
To the paid screen. I like the stream screen.
The stream screen. Stream.
Yes, say that 10 times fast. I gotcha. Hulu is picking up a high-concept TV series based on the 1990s video game Myst, and that's Myst as M-Y-S-T. Now, as the TVC is based on the 1990s mystery video game Myst, apparently it has been in development since last year, and now the project has finally found a home. Deadline reports Hulu picked up Myst with a script-to-series commitment from a creative team comprised of Matt Tallmack, who did Amazing Spider-Man, and Evan Doherty, who did Divergent. The series will reportedly blend fantasy and science fiction while exploring the original of the mysterious namesake island. And Doherty has penned the plot. And like the game, the series is going to follow a man who wakes up on a mysterious island with absolutely no knowledge of who he is or how he got there. Now, we've both played the game. I don't remember anything about him not knowing who he was.
I'm sorry, but the game was just a mystery to me.
I think you might be onto something right there. Anyway, right. Now, the project has apparently been shopped around for several places, garnering a bit of fair interest before Hulu snagged it. For Hulu, this marks a second major series order in the sci-fi genre. The series already has, the service already has 11/22/63, based on Stephen King's novel of the same name, in development from J.J. Lensflare Abrams. This project was also a hot property and could have easily landed at Netflix or some other major network. Does it stand a chance of actually kind of having any kind of staying power? Hard to say.
Who knows?
And I think Hulu does the same thing as Netflix do. They film the entire series and then drop it all in once.
Well, it could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be weird.
Especially when it gets stuck on a clue.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing that kind of
that stupid music going.
That stupid music just will not stop. Now, wouldn't that be funny if an entire, like, say, the third episode is you're continually staring at a power generator room, and you just see this hand pushing all these random buttons and pulling levers, and you just hear music. That's it. That's all of episode 3. I would watch that. That'd be funny. So, moving over to network television. Last week, we talked briefly about Lucifer, which is the series of...
Lucifer?
Lucifer, yeah. He's a cat. Oh. No, not really.
Not that Lucifer.
Not that Lucifer, no. Lucifer, the leader of hell, if you will, who gets bored of being the guardian, caretaker of hell, whatever you want to call it, and decides that he's retiring, he leaves hell, and settles in Los Angeles.
And that is hell.
Yeah. Well, okay. I wasn't going to say anything, so thank you for taking it for me. And because he's bored, he goes to L.A. and starts helping out the police. Well, it will be starring Tom Ellis as Lucifer, and he had been previously seen in the BBC America series The Fades, as well as a Doctor Who episode, The Last of the Time Lords, and he played a character named Thomas Milligan, who, if I'm not mistaken, was a friend of Martha. In any case, the trailer just recently dropped. I would highly recommend watching it. It is very interesting, and we will be posting a link for that also on our website.
Yay.
So now, switching from Lucifer to something a little bit more scientific. Now, CBS just had their upfronts. And I'm not going to go through everything that they decided announced will be coming back, except for the fact that they're bringing back Scorpion.
Oh, dear God.
I can't imagine why they're going to...
Warning!
Yeah, really. Absolutely. Why? Absolutely. Now, one show that did get a renewal is CSI Cyber. Very interesting. I'm kind of happy about that. At times it seems to get a little preachy in computer security and things like that, which tells me that this is a series made for my...
Too careful with your computer.
And tells me that it's a series made for my mother.
Exactly.
Oh, don't anybody tell her I said that.
Yeah, hopefully she doesn't listen.
Yeah, I'd hate to think she does. But one series that did get canceled, sorta, was the original Crime Scene Investigator. However, all is not lost. CBS has agreed to actually bringing that back as a movie finale. And it's going to be a 2-hour TV movie on September 27th. The movie will include, as reported by Entertainment Weekly, it will bring back original series star William Peterson as Grissom. I'm really happy about that because I just dig that guy.
That could be fun.
And former co-star Marge Helgenberger is also going to be coming back. Now, it will also include the current head of the CSI crime lab, and that is Ted Danson. But what I think is going to be very interesting, and I think this 2-hour movie is going to set the stage for that, Ted Danson is going to continue to play his character. He's going to stick with the franchise, and he's heading over to the show's latest spinoff, CSI Cyber.
Deben Corn Russell.
Yeah, I'm really happy about this. I have a feeling that he's going to be taking over the role that Peter McNichol is currently playing as the head of the cyber division. Nonetheless, I really dig him. Keith and I have said many times that we were really reluctant. We didn't quite know what to think about having Ted Danson take over the crime lab in CSI, but he's turned out to be just such a great actor and really wonderful in the part, and still keep that element of whimsy to him that I really dig.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy, and I think it'll only make the series better. So now, jumping over to this is small screen. Something we talked a little bit about last week. It is the new Muppets series for ABC. Now, we kind of discussed, we weren't quite sure what to make of it. I had made some jokes that something funny might be catching a really foul-mouthed Kermit with who's smoking a cigarette and maybe has a bottle of gin. Well, anyway, there's a trailer that is out for it now, and I will admit it made me laugh. And it kind of follows what you said, Keith. It really sticks in the vein of the Muppets. I mean, it's not like the characters all of a sudden become something just really disgusting and foul-mouthed. I mean, they really they stay true to who they are. And of course, the Muppets is very character-driven, obviously, because of the characters. So anyway, the
Really?
Yeah.
Character-driven because of the characters? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, well, I couldn't think of any other way to put it. So anyway, the trailer did drop. It is very funny. I would recommend watching that as well, and we will be posting a link for that as well on our website. Now, I found this really awesome science story. It's Light Sail is a revolutionary solar sailing spacecraft, and right now there's a big push being put out there by Bill Nye the Science Guy for Kickstarter, and this is what it says on the Kickstarter website. I'm Bill Nye, CEO of the Planetary Society. Yes, the Science Guy is also the Planetary Guy. I invite you to come along on a cosmic journey with me by participating in a mission to sail a spacecraft, a tiny CubeSat, no bigger than a breadbox, on beams of light. Imagine it. Unlimited free energy from the sun will provide CubeSats with propulsion and revolutionize access to space for low-cost citizen projects like ours, or by teams of students and faculty at universities. This means that spacecraft, especially small ones like CubeSats, won't have to carry heavy fuels into orbit, and that the acceleration will be continuous. Even better, this is a journey that is directly funded by the world's citizens, like you, rather than by governments. LightSail is truly the people's spacecraft. So again, it is on Kickstarter, and as of today, they had $42 to go. And there was you're gonna love this, people. The goal was $200,000, and they've already raised $419,266. They have nearly 8,000 backers, but still 42 days to go. So if you really want to back this project, and just because they've exceeded their goal doesn't mean they can't use more money. I think this is a really great idea to help advance scientific research. So we'll be placing the link for that also on our website.
Cool. And here are a few selected birthdays for May 18th through May 24th. On May 18th, just for my husband, Rick Wakeman turned 65.
One of the best keyboardists ever.
Chow Yun-fat turns 59. Pernell Roberts, who was a great character actor, mostly known for Bonanza. He starred in Night Gallery, $6 Million Man, Man from Atlantis. His birthday on May 18th. Also, Frank Capra was born in 1897. Mount St. Helens blew up in 1980 on May 18th and killed 60 people.
That was terrible.
May 19th, Andrei Rene Roussimoff, also known as Andre the Giant. Peter Mayhew is 70 on May 19th, and Nora Ephron had a birthday on May 19th. On May 20, Cheryl Sarkeesian,
better known as
Cher. She's 68, as well as Jack Gleason, infamous for being,
I have no idea.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Okay.
Nasty kid.
Joffrey?
Joffrey. There we go. God, my God, how could I forget that? He turns 22 on May 20th.
22?
Yep.
Wow, talk about a babyface.
Yep. May 21st, Lawrence Toriod, also known as Mr. T, turned 62. Raymond Burr had a birthday on May 21st. On May 22nd, Harvey Milk. Sean Gunn is 40. He's a little brother to James Gunn.
He's a little brother to James Gunn?
Yep.
Wow.
And George Prosper Remy, also known as Hergé, The Adventures of Tintin, was born on May 22nd. And interesting that we were talking about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. His birthday, 1859 on May 22nd. May 23rd, Robert Moog.
Now that makes me funny, especially since his birthday is just like a week off from Rick Wakeman's. I love that.
Interesting, yes.
Yeah.
Just a couple of days. Actually, on May 23rd, Joan Collins, Rosemary Clooney, and Douglas Fairbanks was born in 1883. May 24th, John C. Reilly is 49. Frank Oz and Alfred Molina is 61.
He's 60. Wow, he looks good for 61.
Yep. So that is it for the birthdays.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
You can find culture at the theater. you can find culture in the bottom of an unwashed coffee mug. Or you can find culture on your iPod. Join Brad, Glenn, and Christina on Pod Culture, Equal Opportunity Geekness. Go to www.podculture.net.
Head on over to Podculture and give them a listen. They talk about lots of interesting stuff.
It can get pretty wacky over there, trust me.
Yeah. And now let's talk about some listener feedback. And we have some listener feedback today. And as always, we thank you, Brian, a.k.a. Arkle. He posted on our last episode a comment, says, no offense to Olsen or Johansson. Well, okay, plenty of offense to Johansson, but I'm not going to go into that. He said, but I'd rather see a She-Hulk TV series than a Black Widow or Scarlet Witch movie.
Ah, wow. Gee, Brian, I really don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I have to give that one some thought.
Interesting, yeah. Interesting. He also posted that LMD stands for Life Model Decoy.
And that's in reference to the story where Kevin Feige admitted that the character of Quicksilver was indeed dead, and that it wasn't a life model decoy. So that's what it meant by LMD. So thank you, Brian, for clearing that up.
Yes. And if you comment on our Facebook page, YouTube episodes, or at tggeeks.com, you could receive a shout out, just like Brian did, on a future episode. Or you could call our listener feedback line and we will play your comment on air. 469-TG-GEEKS. That's 469-844-3357. And a special note, if you're a Skype user, you can look us up on Skype. We are TG Geeks. Send us a request for an ad and we will add you, and then you can call us on Skype and leave a voicemail. It won't cost you anything.
Okay, now we've got a lot of TV stuff to talk about here, and this is going to be very superhero heavy, and I think as it goes on, you'll begin to understand why. Now, this November, CBS hopes viewers will believe a girl can fly.
A girl can fly?
Well,
Is it a bird?
is it a plane? It's Supergirl! Yes, as announced last September, it has officially landed on the network's schedule with a planned debut in late 2015 when it will take over Big Bang Theory's slot on Mondays at 8, when that show shifts over to Thursdays in late 2015. Now, CBS has also released several new photos from the series, including an official look at Callisto Flockhart's Cat Grant, Mechad Brooks, Jimmy Olsen, alongside star Melissa Benoist, or Benoist. I'm not entirely sure how that's pronounced, but that's her in her civilian guise or disguise as Kara Danvers. And for anybody who has been on another planet all this time, Supergirl is an action-adventure drama based on the DC Comics character Kara Zor-El, Superman's cousin, who after 12 years of keeping her powers a secret on Earth, decides to finally embrace her superhuman abilities and be the hero she was always meant to be, etc., etc., etc. There's a trailer that has just come out for this, so instead of me actually going to all the heavy detail as to what the plot's all about, I would recommend going over to the trailer itself. It's very interesting. In fact, when I watched it, the first thought that ran through my head was, oh, wow, it's a CW series meets The Devil Wears Prada. And all you got to do is see the trailer and it will all be made clear. It's a rather lengthy trailer. In fact, it's like over 6 minutes long.
Wow.
I'm not entirely sure why they felt the need to release something that lengthy. The part that...
I think Brian posted on the article on the Facebook page that it had, what was it, executive...
It really felt like Felicity.
Well, but
he said
it was like some executive review of Supergirl.
Yeah, something along those lines. I remember seeing that.
For your review.
Yeah, for review.
For your consideration.
He kind of made a comparison to Felicity. Perhaps that's so, but when I saw Calista Flockhart playing Kara's boss, I mean, it really screamed of Devil Wears Prada. So just take a look for it and you'll see for yourself. What I thought was very interesting, and I've yet to see if this will actually happen in the series. I'm kind of hoping it does, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But in this trailer that we get online, there is a clip where they are making reference to Superman, and they actually show a cut from, I believe, the movie Man of Steel. It's either from Man of Steel or it's from Superman versus Batman. I'm not sure which.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we'll be posting the link for that trailer as well.
We're going to have lots of links on the website this time.
Yeah, we got tons and tons of links. Now, Arrow. We just had the season finale, and for the last 3 years, this series has just been dark, dark, dark. Now, presumably influenced by the massive successes of Guardians of the Galaxy, which really, I think, kind of showed that light can be enormously great fun, as well as the freshman series of Flash, which, while I wouldn't call it super light fare, it's certainly lighter than Arrow. Apparently, the fourth season of Arrow is going to take a lighter tone, according to the showrunner Mark Guggenheim. Now, the producer told IO9 that Arrow will start to bridge some of the gap between its dour tone of that of the relentlessly bright Flash series, a tone which seems to be reflected in the newly released teaser for DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and we'll be talking about that in a moment. Anyway, the fourth season will be taking a lighter tone. That's pretty much the only thing I can say without spoiling it. We've been working for about a month now in the writer's room talking about season 4, and I think the only thing we can all collectively understood was season 3, beginning with Sarah's death. Because it's the death of a major character of the show, it set a tone for the remainder of the season, and I'm not the least bit apologetic for that tone. So,
and who was that was saying that?
That was Mark Guggenheim, the showrunner. Now, Arrow does return for the fall in its fourth season, with apparently the villain for this upcoming year. Like this last season, it was all about Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, if you want to be a purist. This time, it's going to be about Damien Dark and an organization called Hive. And they'll be serving as the primary antagonists, while other plot threads from the first 3 seasons will almost certainly continue to play roles with Argus, League of Assassins, and the newly christened Ra's al Ghul. Oh, I'm not going to say who it is in case you haven't watched it yet. And also, Stephen Amell, during the CW upfronts, announced that Arrow suit that he'd been wearing, he's never wearing it again. He said that's the last time he's ever wearing it. Now, admittedly, he said he also has no idea where the show is headed, big picture-wise. He says that the season 3 finale took him by surprise as much as anybody else. But there's one thing that he does know. He took to the CW upfronts and talked a little bit about it. He won't reveal what that information is. He says it's trivial. He says it's really not all that important. Mm-hmm. But I think one thing we can all take away from that is Stephen Amell sort of likes to misdirect people.
Yeah, I'm wondering maybe that he won't ever wear that suit again because it was destroyed in a fire or something. They had to make a new one for him.
It's very possible. And
it could be something as simple as that, or could be something else.
Well, everybody's still waiting. I mean, he's been kind of moving as far as the character evolution goes. From first he was the vigilante, then he became known as Arrow, but everybody knows that ultimately he is the Green Arrow. So I'm kind of thinking maybe that's what we're going to get here. He's going to be.
Is he the one that has that little round thing with the two? No, that's the Green Lantern. Sorry.
Well, hey, funny you should mention that. David Ramsey, who plays John Diggle.
Is he going to be Green Lantern?
What? Oh, you're giving the game away.
Sorry.
You're giving the game away.
I'm just guessing. I didn't read your article.
Well, yeah, you're giving it away. Now, it had been suggested that Diggle get a mask towards the end of the finale for Arrow, since it looks like he's going to be taking a more proactive role in Team Arrow. And it was confirmed that he will be getting a mask or some kind of concealment for his character of John Diggle. Now, he was also at the CW upfronts. And of course, they showed a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, they had, the guests, the stars from Arrow, the stars from Flash were there. They also had the stars from Legends of Tomorrow were going to be there. And David Ramsey was interviewed. And of course, the thing that everybody wanted to talk about, what kind of a mask is he going to be getting? We know that his character is named John Diggle. Now, let's jump characters for a little bit. We know that the current Black Canary is Laurel Lance. However, in the comic book, she was always Dinah Lance. And in the pilot of Arrow, the very first episode, we find out that she's simply choosing to go by her middle name, while her first name is indeed Dinah Lance, which kind of then sticks with the continuity. So now let's take a look at Diggle. His name is John Diggle, but what's to say that his one of his other names isn't Stewart, as in John Stewart Diggle, or maybe John Diggle Stewart? Because there is a John Stewart who does become Green Lantern.
Interesting.
So that's what everybody's wondering. Now, apparently the showrunners are kind of like, they especially Mark Guggenheim.
Maybe that's his married name. Sorry.
I got nothing. Now, whatever it's going to be, it will be epic. Mark Guggenheim has said publicly that it's not necessarily going to go that way right now. That kind of implies that maybe there is a plan for the future. And if there's one thing we know about these showrunners is that they love to play the long game. So anyway, people are really talking about where Arrow is possibly going to go once the season 4 starts. So since we're talking about season 4 of Arrow, everybody's also wondering, well, are we going to get more crossovers and whatever? Well, apparently the crossover episodes between Flash and Arrow were huge. They helped fuel the CW's success, and the network president, Mark Pedowitz, promises that there will be more to come. He said we'll be doing them as special events in the fourth quarter, and he said that at the CW's upfront presentation. With yet more characters from the DC Comics universe entering the CW schedule, and with the pickup of DC's Legends of Tomorrow, the plan is for even more creative storytelling, especially since the shows will all be in the hands of executive producer Greg Berlanti and his team, including executive producer Mark Guggenheim and Andrew Kreisberg. He says, we do have crossovers planned. The point of building these 3 shows out of the CW network is we can make a comic book world. Thank you. World building. This is something that we all love to see. Marvel has been doing it with their movie franchises as well as with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and with Agent Carter. So it's great that these guys have finally, that they're on the boat. They realize what it is that we fans want to see. So this is really, really exciting. Of course, the big question is now, what about Supergirl? Because that show is also being run, even though it's on CBS, it's being run by the same people. Now, the network has said publicly at this point that they're going to keep her to themselves. Now, Berlanti says, I always approach shows as a fan first, so I would love to see a crossover. I think in success, all things are possible, but there's a lot that would have to happen before everybody might say yes to that. And I think what it is CBS, they want, I don't know if it's that they're being selfish, but I think they just want to hold on to the show, try to make it a success purely on their own merits, if you will. And if it does really start to pan out, if it really does take off like I think they hope, then maybe we may start to see some crossovers with the CW properties, which I'm really, really hoping for. Now, we made mention of DC's Legend of Tomorrow. Well, a trailer just got recently released, and we'll be posting the link for that as well on our website. Now, CW did release their first look at the DC's Legend of Tomorrow. It's the new series that is spinning out of Arrow and Flash, starring Brandon Routh, Katie Lotz as White Canary, and Victor Garber in roles from these shows. And Victor Garber played Dr. Martin Stein, introduced in the Flash series. Launching at mid-season, the show has already some of its work cut out for it, explaining how a couple of its leads are even alive, like we saw Ray Palmer, Brandon Routh's character, come to somewhat of a sticky situation at the end of Arrow. And the trailer shows a lot of a certain firestorm, but there's no evidence of Robbie Amell being there, so hopefully there's going to be some answers to that. Now, the trailer also shows Sarah Lance, played by Katie Lotz, the former Black Canary from Arrow, here as the White Canary, and in the trailer it shows that she has indeed been resurrected, compliments of the Lazarus Pit. So take that for what you will. Now, the White Canary was originally a villain from the comic books. She was of Chinese origin, so they're taking the character and they're kind of like putting Sarah in there, but if I'm not mistaken, Sarah Lance is also an original character for the series. She was never in the comic books to my knowledge, so I guess it's okay to sort of take that liberty and have her become White Canary. Curiously absent from the image, though, was Franz Drama, who will be playing Jay Jackson. He's a new character, or at least a new civilian identity for an old character. He's a mystery. Nobody really knows anything about him, so we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, check out the trailer when you see it. It will geek you out big time. Now, lastly, we got some more potpourri we want to quickly touch on. We got Spider-Man that is going to be coming out to the Marvel movie universe pretty soon. And on the short list, as we suspected, right now, the big talk is that it's going to be going to Asa Butterfield, who starred in the movies Hugo and Ender's Game. He was one of 5 candidates who was purportedly up for the role. Nothing's officially been confirmed yet. Announced from Deadline, although the company is in talks with Butterfield around 5 other actors who are still in running for the role, so you have to kind of take it with a pinch of salt right now.
It could be interesting because he does have that baby face if they're wanting to get back to Peter Parker as the high school student.
Yeah, he could pull that off. I mean, he's very youthful, and he's just a dadgum good actor. So if they want to show Peter Parker and I don't want to say angsty because that's really not right, but Peter, I mean, he's a teenager. He's a high school student. So yeah, he's going to have some of that teen angst. And the thing is, Asa's
not too much of it.
Not too much of it. And the thing is, Asa is really just a great actor. I mean, he's really, really solid. If you don't believe me, watch Hugo, watch Ender's Game. The guy is really great. Something else is the upcoming movie XMen Apocalypse. Now, Michael Fassbender, who plays Magneto, confirms that this movie is the final one in his contract. However, he adds that he's definitely open to doing more as Magneto. And he says, I will shoot 100 of them. The contract is in a 3-film deal, and this is the last of that, but I'll be curious to see what happens next. Now, of course, Hugh Jackman said the same thing about playing Wolverine, and he just finally announced, I mean, now granted, he's been playing it for God knows how many years now, but he did finally admit that Wolverine 3 is going to be his final one. So the day may come when Michael Fassbender may not want to play the part. However, given that Magneto does age, as evidenced by Sir Ian McKellen, I mean, there's every possibility that Fassbender could age with the role. And if he's willing to play it, and I think if the scripts continue to be good, well, hey, more going to you, Michael. I think you're a great actor.
Regular paycheck.
Regular paycheck, and it's a big franchise, and it's kind of hard to go wrong with that. Now, I just found out this movie's being made yet again, and it is The Blob.
The Blob?
They're making The Blob for a 3rd time.
I thought it was 4th or 5th time.
Well, there were several sequels off the first one.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, there was Return of the Blob, and I'm not kidding.
Oh,
I think
right.
there was actually a movie called Son of Blob.
Oh, geez.
I think. I could be wrong. And then there was a remake of The Blob, which came out in the 80s, if I remember right. But there's another one now. And Samuel L. Jackson has just joined this film, playing a biochemist attempting to thwart the otherworldly predator discovered deep within the earth. So apparently this Blob's going to have a different origin than the previous one.
I wish I had Chuck's Samuel L. Jackson app.
Oh!
With all the sayings on it.
Yeah, that would have been funny. That would have worked great for that.
A little shout out to Chuck Tomasi.
Yeah.
Technorama.
Also, there's going to be another Planet of the Apes film. That's hardly a surprise. And according to an
This is what, 5 times now?
well, of this latest reboot, I think this is the 4th. I could be wrong, maybe the 5th. I haven't really been following them, so shame on me. According to an interview with Collider, director Matt Reeves has stated that the next movie in the series is going to be called War of the Planet of the Apes. I don't know. When I hear that, and I'm thinking Battle for the Planet of the Apes. So, whatever. Now, in terms of TV news, there's Agent Carter. We know that's coming back. Woohoo! Really happy.
Agents of Carter.
Agents of Carter. And Haley Atwell has tweeted that there are ongoing discussions to add more diversity to the show's 2nd season following a social media campaign calling for more men and women of different races and sexualities to appear in the show. Now, I kind of have to take a step back here. One of the things that really made Agent Carter such a strong series was the fact that it stayed true to the era in terms of how people were being treated based on gender and even possibly race. So while it's always nice to see diversity, if they're talking about embracing a lot of equality in here, that might be pushing the series a little bit forward, too far forward than it needs to go.
Well, maybe it could be acceptable in the realm that they're dealing with before, because it was really during the Hoover era, with Hoover as the head of the FBI, that everything kind of blew up, and gay people were said, oh, we can't have them in organization because they could be blackmailed too easily. So
I remember that. Yeah,
it might be that prior to that they could make the case for that.
So
under Howard Stark's,
we might be seeing like the push for equality as opposed to the equality already exists. Then you're saying?
Correct. Yeah.
It's a good possibility. One thing we do know is that the show is going to be taking place. The 2nd season takes place in Los Angeles.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's really weird. I keep hoping that what we're going to see is the eventual beginning of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I think that's what everybody's really wanting to look forward to. Anyway, Haley Atwell did tweet that diversity in Season 2 was brought up today, and not even by me, which is a first. So apparently she's been a real champion for some kind of diversity in the show. I really love her. I think she's amazing. So what I do know is that I trust the showrunners. They know what they're doing. So regardless of what kind of diversity we may see, I know that the showrunners are not going to take the series in an inappropriate direction.
Right.
So however it goes, it will be good. It will be of quality. Now, this one has me, I don't quite know what to think about this. So M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong is back.
Shut up! Shut up!
I'm sorry. He's coming back, and apparently he's doing a series called Wayward Pines. Now, let me read what he said as he was discussing the ethos in creating the show. I think this particular form, I would say because there are so many bizarre questions that are constantly being raised, that you're supposed to be provoked into going, well, how did the blank did that happen? How could she have said that? How could she have not remembered this? And how could he have gone there? To ask as many questions as possible, it does seem to interact in that way. Whereas, let's say, the series True Detective, you probably shouldn't be texting because it's a tonal-only piece. It's about this hum. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. There is a mystery in there, but it's about that tone. So if you're doing this on your phone, you're basically not paying attention to what they're doing so masterfully in the piece. And our piece is, I'm going to show you images. Tell you or tell me what they mean to you. A woman has been murdered. A birthday cake. And you're going, huh? How do these things fit together? So it's a different kind of story. I read that, and all I could say is, you're ding-dong. I'm sorry.
Shamalama ding dong.
Absolutely. I mean, he was at best a two-hit wonder on the big screen. Although I did like Signs, I can't help it. I did like it. But yeah, aside from Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, his movies have not done well. They've been panned left and right. So maybe he's trying for the small screen to do a TV series. Maybe he feels he'll be more successful there. So now, lastly, there is a new series coming out called Humans. We don't have much on it, but we do have a very brief synopsis for this show. This is an 8-part series which is going to star William Hurt and Catherine Parkinson. The series takes place in a parallel universe where families rely on synths, highly developed, artificially intelligent servants that are eerily similar to their living counterparts. Can you say life model decoy?
Yeah, interesting, yes.
Yes. So that's our potpourri. Now, there were a heck of a lot more stories. We'll be posting the link for IO9 that had these stories and all the rest on our website.
Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We will have several links on that page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website at tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.